आचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ श्लोक नंबर 9। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशं गुडाकेशः परन्तपः न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम् उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः। तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये श्रीदन्तमिदं वचः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः। So we have entered into the main teaching of Bhagavad Gita, and this teaching has got some background which we have seen so far. The background is Arjuna entered into battlefield. He was ready to fight, do his duty, but the problem of attachment, emotional dependence upon his relatives was surfaced. And because of that problem of attachment, he got into the problem of sorrow. Because attachment one day or the other will bring sorrow. And because of this problem of attachment and sorrow, he got into the problem of moha, confusion, seeing things wrongly. And because of that, he was thinking to give up his duty and run away. As many of us feel sometimes, let us drop everything and go to Rishikesh. As if we have got all solutions in Rishikesh. Rishikesh people have problems. They want to settle in South. So, so don't think any particular place has got a solution. Particular person is a solution. That is confusion. And Arjuna expressed his wish that he wants to run away. And Bhagwan scolded him a little bit, or we can say he gave some pep talk. No, no, Arjuna, it is not good. It does not befit you. Get up, do your duty. But Arjuna was not so much enthused by that. And again, he presented his problem that he is not afraid of war, but he is concerned the death, about death of his relatives. And then slowly, his thinking was directed to the fundamental problem of life. From topical problem, he went to this fundamental problem. And fundamental problem is, why am I subject to sorrow? Why am I becoming sorrow every now and then? Particular sorrow is not an issue. He wants to be free from sorrow in general. And he requested Bhagavan. Acknowledgement of problem and desire to solve the problem, and then seeing helplessness to solve the problem. These are the three things required to go to surrender to anyone. Acknowledgement of the problem, then desire to solve the problem, and then finding helplessness to solve the problem. Finding oneself to be helpless to solve the problem. And in such situation, where person will go is decided by his background and his punyam, his prarabdha. Some people may go to drugs, alcohol. Oh, I am feeling so helpless. I don't find any solution. So may go to those things, alcohol, etc. And if some good karmas are there, some religious background is there, then person may go to some guide. And in case of Arjuna, he had lived religious life, and therefore he turns to Bhagavan Sri Krishna for help. And he surrenders. This surrender can happen when a person has acknowledged problem, desire to solve the problem, and also finding helpless to solve the problem. And one more factor is, one sees some confidence in the source of help. A person in front of me, if he looks confident to solve a problem, then surrender becomes easy. If you go to the doctor and doctor says, oh my God, your problem is so severe, so intense, I don't know what to do. I have to do a lot of research. If he tells like this, then, then he will not surrender. But if he says, yes, you have difficulty, but it can be solved. Tarane asti upaya. There is a way out. Then you will surrender to the person. So Bhagavan was having a smile on his face in spite of Arjuna having so many problems. And Arjuna had seen Bhagavan's life. The Bhagavan Sri Krishna's life was not that easy. Every now and then he had to face the challenges. But still his smile was never lost. And therefore Arjuna felt that he is the guide. And Arjuna surrendered to Bhagavan and requested to enlighten him, requested to teach him. And then only Bhagavan will start teaching. Because there is a convention that aprishtaha na bruyat. If you are not asked, you should not teach this Brahma. In fact, really speaking, unsolicited advice should not be given. If you give unsolicited advice, your advice will have very little value. When there is a demand and you supply, then there will be a value. In economics, we have studied. When supply goes up, means supply is more, then price comes down. So if you supply too much advice, then what will happen? Your advice will have no value. That's what I keep telling parents. that even if you want to advise, have 3 advice a day. Don't more than that. And I said you use very sparingly. Because if for small things you advise, oh, you wear your shoes properly. So one advice is gone. I said when critical situation, then only you advise. So you increase the price by reducing the supply. That is what OPEC countries are doing. You know, they reduce the supply, oil supply, so price will go up. So if you want the price of your advice to go up, what you should do? Reduce. Reduce supply. Even if you are concerned, give only when really necessary. And so Bhagavan is following this convention. Especially Vedanta should not be taught unless you are requested to teach. Some people, when they learn Vedanta, no, they get over enthusiastic. Whoever comes, even traveling in the train, is say, do you know Vedanta? So, do you know who you are? Do you know who are you? Not necessary. You can have pleasure in sharing. There should not be pressure of sharing. Should not be pressure of sharing. If pressure means you have to work on yourself first. You enjoy sharing, but you don't have pressure. If people don't ask, you can remain quiet. Which is Swamiji nicely said. He said, I can live with the person for 20 years and may not teach a single sentence of Vedanta. He was an embodiment of Vedanta. But still he said, I can remain without talking about Vedanta unless this person asks. If that person asks only, then only I will tell. That's the right thing. That is the convention. So Bhagavan said, taught only when Arjuna asked. And Arjuna asked. And then he kept quiet. Tushnim babhuva. When the disciple keeps quiet, then only teacher will start. And having kept quiet, Arjuna, then Bhagavan Sri Krishna started. Arjuna kept quiet and Bhagavan watched. And that is the shloka, 11th shloka we were seeing. This 11th shloka is the essence of Bhagavad Gita teaching. The teaching starts with this shloka, really speaking. And it goes up to 66 shloka of the 18th chapter. So 211 to 1866 is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. And the essence of the teaching which is given here and will be given there at the end is your sorrow is because of ignorance and ignorance born conclusions. And therefore, the solution to the problem of sorrow is knowledge and correction based on knowledge. Knowledge and knowledge based correction is the solution to your problem of sorrow. And ignorance based conclusions are the cause for your sorrow. In fact, this fact needs to be assimilated well. One needs to be convinced of this, that is it true that my problem of samsara, my problem of sorrow is because of ignorance and ignorance born conclusion. Is it true? A seeker needs to ask this question several times until he or she gets the answer, yes. Not to tell others. It is from the bottom of my heart that answer comes, yes. Whatever suffering I have in my life is because of this ignorance born conclusions. So this is the essence of Vedanta. We are not keeping any secret. This is the essence. You are suffering because of ignorance and ignorance born problem, and solution to this suffering is knowledge and knowledge born connection. Alright, and this idea he gives in the last part of the shloka. Panditaha na anushochanti. Wise people do not grieve. Means wise people are free from sorrow. What does it mean? Wise people are free from sorrow means what? Wisdom is the solution to the problem of sorrow. Like we say that rich people get easy entry. Means what? Richness is the means to get the easy entry. So wise people do not grieve. Free from sorrow means wisdom is the way to be free from sorrow. And it means corollary is anytime there is sorrow, there is no wisdom. At least at that moment you have missed wisdom. This is a very good exercise. Whenever you feel I have sorrow, you trace it to the self ignorance. Trace it to self ignorance born conclusion. And before we proceed, I would like to clarify one point is there is a difference between pain and sorrow. In the last class also I had told pain is a physical phenomenon. I can have knee pain, I can have a pain in the stomach, pain in the head. That is called pain. Whereas sorrow is different from pain. Sorrow is uneasiness, sadness centered on I. It is not that sorrow is, we cannot say I have sorrow in my pain or sorrow in my neck, etc. Sorrow is uneasiness, sadness, feeling of being sad, which is centered on I. When you have got pain, I can ask, where is the pain? You have got ankle pain or knee pain or where is the pain? You can say in all parts of the body. All the parts of body means the parts which you are aware of. Even when we say in all parts, really speaking, not in all parts. When you got pain in all parts, it's not in your kidney there is pain. Is when you say something, all over body have pain, but still kidney will not have pain. Liver will not have pain that time. But still we say all but still you can pinpoint. Whereas the sorrow is not centered on particular part of the body. Sorrow is centered on I, self. I am sorrow. So sadness, sorrow is centered on I, self. And it is not physical pain. Yes, if I have physical pain and I ask why I only have pain, this is wrong. I have knee pain is pain. But if I say why am I subject to pain? Why me? This is wrong. Then me comes into the picture. Why me? People have no why me? Because this is a human mind. We always think that all others are happy, I only have problem. All world problem I only have. All others are happy. Grass looks always greener on other side. So that adds to your problem further. But when you complain about your pain, that complaint is expression of sorrow. But pain itself is not sorrow. Therefore, in the last class we saw that we don't say I have knee sorrow, I have head sorrow, I have stomach sorrow. We don't say like this. We say knee pain. We say that ankle pain. But sorrow is centered on I. Why me? I as a person am not at ease. And that is sorrow. And that sorrow is because of ignorance. Whenever you have got sorrow, you can trace it to the self-ignorance and self-ignorance born conclusion. This is a very good exercise to get more commitment to self-knowledge. Once you have seen this fact very clearly and in a convincing manner that my sorrow is because of this self-ignorance and ignorance born conclusion, then only you will have commitment to knowledge and knowledge-based correction. Otherwise, when nothing else is there to do, you will do Vedanta. The general opinion is what? That Vedanta is meant for only old people. And old also has got some connotation. Old means what? In their mind, good for nothing. So when they cannot do anything else, then only they should study Vedanta. Therefore, if you are going to Vedanta class in younger age, people will ask, what happened? Enaitu? Enache? So what happened to you? They will ask. Why? Because they think it is something abnormal to go to Vedanta when you have so many things to do. That is what they think. That Vedanta is only meant for this people who are good for nothing. It is not so. Do you have sorrow or not? If you have no sorrow, if somebody says, Swami, I don't have any sorrow, then you really speaking, you don't require this Bhagavad Gita teaching. Only I will do namaskara to you. Very good, you are passed from the exam. So nothing to be done. But it should be genuine statement. Some people they say if somebody asks you, how are you? What do you say generally? Fine only we say. When somebody asks, how are you? General response supposed to be what? Fine. When how are you is the question, don't complain your indigestion. You know that. So that is the norm. So you say fine, excellent, and all top of the world. In fact, that is how they are trained. You should say like this. Not simply fine, but inside the person knows. So Panditaha na anushocanti means wise people do not grieve. It means those who grieve are not wise people. They are ignorant people. Means ignorance is the cause, knowledge is the solution. Now question is that, Swamiji, how do you connect my sorrow with this ignorance? Because they do not look connected. It is something like, one person was asked that if you don't have earlobes, what will be the problem? He said, I will not be able to see. How? Yeah. If I don't have earlobes, I will not be able to see because my glasses where will be there. So glasses require my earlobes. So that connection some people may miss. So similarly, what is the connection between my being sorrowful and this ignorance? Generally, we don't connect. If I ask you that, oh, you have some problem, sorrow, people don't say that my sorrow is because of my ignorance. People will, what they will say, I have sorrow because somebody in family died. I have sorrow because I lost something. I have sorrow because my near and dear ones are misunderstanding me. They misunderstand me. These are the common things. I am sorrowful, I am sad. Why? Because my husband said like this, my wife said like this, my children don't talk to me, or they talk wrongly. Always we blame somebody for our sorrow. And sometimes we don't find anybody around to blame. So we blame our stars. We say my Rahu is not okay, Ketu is not okay, this is not okay. We always blame somebody. Scapegoat we want. Somebody we blame. But Vedanta, Shastra says that you need to understand how this sorrow comes. Here, one important thing is to be noted is Bhagavan is not telling you should not be sad. This many people advise don't be sad. You must have heard this very irritating advice. Really, if somebody is already sad and you say don't be sad, isn't it irritating? As if you want to be sad. See, advice has got a meaning when a person has a choice. Suppose you are moving too much that I can say be steady. You have a choice. But a person is sad not because he wants to be sad. And if you advise him, what? Don't be sad. This is a common advice, a wrong advice. If because of such advice, no, we have one more problem. What? All people are telling me I should not be sad. But see, I am sad. I should not be sad. You also start telling. What? I should not be sad. And you have got one more sadness. What? I am sad that I am sad. Isn't it? That's what happens. I call it a side effect. It's not a secondary infection. It is a secondary infection. Primary infection you have sorrow, and another sorrow you have what? That I am sad. That I am sad. I should not be sad, but see, I am sad. Unnecessary it is. Don't create unnecessary pressure. You handle the situation rather than having I should be or should not be. It is something like suppose you have fever. Don't have fever. What is this? Don't have fever. I don't have choice. Somebody is sneezing. Suppose. Don't sneeze. What is this? If person you tell don't sneeze, it will be very uncomfortable situation you are putting in. So here, Bhagavan is not advising you. Remember the difference between preaching and teaching. Bhagavad Gita is not a text of preaching. Bhagavad Gita is the text of teaching. It is revealing the facts about life, facts about the world, facts about yourself. It is not meant for teaching. Meant for preaching. It is meant for teaching. And in fact, teaching alone will bring long-lasting transformation. Preaching will not. Teaching alone will bring long-lasting transformation. So here Bhagavan is not telling Arjuna, you should not be sad. Why are you sad? You are my friend. It will not look nice on me also that my friend is sad. So it is wrong. Like many people said, my children should not be sad. See, many men have got this problem. What? Swamiji, I am doing so much for them, but they are not happy. Don't take charge of somebody's life to make them happy. You are not responsible for making them happy. You are responsible for providing something which will make them comfortable. You can help them to see, if they are ready, you can help them to see how to remain happy, how to take care of the factors which are coming in our way to be happy. That you can help. And one more thing you can do is you do not contribute to their cause to be unhappy. Means you don't become nimitta as far as possible for them to be unhappy. Whatever is irritating factor for them, you can minimize. They don't like your advice, stop giving it. So you can contribute in this manner. You don't take charge of somebody's happiness. Why you know? Because you are not in charge of your own happiness. How can you take charge of somebody's happiness? You are not in charge of your happiness. You decide after today, tomorrow, or today itself you decide. Swamiji, from 12 o'clock onwards, whole day I will be happy. Why not? I will be happy. I will be happy. Right? The moment you go out and your chappals are not there. So, really, you are not in charge of your own happiness as an ignorant person. Why do you take unnecessary charge? Don't take this. You have no responsibility to make others happy. Don't take that charge. So, here we are not giving any advice for becoming happy. Here we are just revealing the fact what makes you happy, what makes you unhappy. And Bhagavan is going to reveal, which we'll see now itself, so that we get the idea. What is the connection between my sorrow and my ignorance? Analyze why I become sad. I think, is there anybody in this room who has never become sad? Is there anybody? Is there anybody? Okay. So everybody has become sad. Some may be sad now also. When is class? So anyway, so I don't think everybody knows what it means to be sad, isn't it? Everybody knows. So that one I can give a explanation. When you are sad, immediate cause is your insistence on how things should be, or your resistance to what has happened. Your insistence and resistance are the cause, immediate cause. There are so many things we'll see. Immediate cause for your sorrow. My son is not studying well, Swamiji. Your insistence is he should study well. And your resistance to the fact that he is not studying. That is the cause. You tell me, is there anything else? Swamiji, my spouse, he doesn't understand me, or rather misunderstand me. Understand, doesn't understand is one problem. Worse is, doesn't he misunderstands me. She misunderstands me. And what is my insistence? At least my spouse should understand me. That is my insistence. At least, Swamiji. और कोई नहीं तो कब से कब minimum my spouse should understand me. Swamiji, 25 years I am with her or with him. Just yesterday we celebrated our silver jubilee. So still Swamiji doesn't understand me or misunderstands me every now and then. So my insistence is what? He should understand me. At least he should not misunderstand me. But he misunderstands me. So to that particular fact, in my perception, what is fact is he doesn't understand me, he misunderstands me. And I have a resistance to the fact. If you don't have resistance, it will not create sorrow. If you say one simple thing, do you understand yourself completely? Huh? Do you understand yourself completely? Psychologically, even, not even Vedantically. Psychologically, also, do you understand yourself completely? No, every now and then you get surprised. Swamiji, I don't know why I did this. You say this. That shows what you did not understand yourself. So my simple, humble, submission is this: that when you are not understanding yourself, with whom you are staying for how many years since birth, your spouse you are not with since birth. Even you are not able to understand yourself completely, and every now and then you misunderstand yourself because you are surprised by your action, you are surprised by your response, shows that you have misunderstanding about yourself. When you don't understand yourself completely, how can you expect others to understand you completely? See some unreasonability in your expectation. Yes, you can say that if other person understands me, is a comfortable thing, and I will try my best to make myself understandable. Sometimes we send opposite signal. So we really create confusion in the minds of person. We send opposite. We do not know sometimes that we are sending opposite signal to other person. And therefore he misunderstands me. When he calls me, I have no time. Don't disturb me. Suppose I say this. And after a few months, I will say, you don't call me at all. Hey, you send me the signal. So really speaking, we do not know that how much we have contributed to others' misunderstanding. We have to acknowledge this. That's by the way. Anyway, so we were seeing this point. My sorrow is because of my insistence that things should be like this. People should behave in this manner. Weather should be like this. Government should be like this. The bureaucracy should be like this. I have so much insistence. I can expect, I can wish, I can pray, nothing wrong in it. I wish that government is free from corruption. I wish that weather is good. I can pray for it. But my insistence, this is how it should be. Like some people say, no, I will not take no for the answer. Have you heard this expression? That is a sure means, guaranteed means to become unhappy. Yes, I wish that he says yes, she says yes, but I am ready if he or she tells otherwise. Then no so. So here, insistence, particular insistence, and this resistance to the fact are the cause for my sorrow. But Shastra goes further, doesn't stop there. Shastra says, why do we have insistence and resistance? Why am I insisting that my spouse should behave like this, my son should behave like this, my neighbor should behave like this? Why do I have insistence? Why do I have resistance? For that, Shastra says that insistence and resistance are because of my likes and dislikes. My emotional dependence is called likes, attachment, raga, and aversion to particular situation. Means I am seeing certain situation to be an obstacle to my happiness, peace, and security. To and therefore that is called dvesha, and because of that I have got resistance. So my insistence and resistance are because of my likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes can be understood as emotional dependence. Emotional dependence upon a particular person, situation, and object. And dvesha is the aversion to anything which is coming in my way to be happy, peaceful, and secure. When I consider that this person is the obstacle, he is coming in my way to attain happiness, to attain peace, then that person becomes the object of your hatred, aversion, dvesha. And because of this raga dvesha, I have insistence and resistance. And insistence and resistance are there. Every time what I insist doesn't happen. Every time what I resist doesn't stop happening. And therefore what happens? This ragadvesha lead to insistence and resistance, and they will lead to sorrow. Now further we go deeper. Why do I have raga and dvesha? Why am I emotionally dependent on someone, something for my peace, happiness, security? Why am I dependent upon particular person, situation, setup? Like I say, this Tambram. Tambram is what? Hindu, newspaper, coffee, and curd rice. These three things should be there. So this is this newspaper is not there in the morning, person feels so much disturbed. Newspaper has not come. Newspaper has not come. Coffee is not there. Coffee is not there. Or a person, they Swami, I don't want me to be away from my spouse. Whatever happens, I don't want to be away from my children. Without them, I can't live. This is dependence. This is raga dveshas. Why? Why are they? Why they are there? For that, Shastra says further, I see myself to be bereft of, devoid of happiness, devoid of peace, devoid of security. Means I find myself to be inadequate, limited. I find that I by myself am not happy. I can be happy when this many things happen. I can be peaceful when this many things happen and this many things don't happen. Both lists we have. What should happen, what should not happen. And generally, the world will not oblige all the time. And therefore disturbance comes. So, my ragadveshas are there because I find myself to be inadequate in terms of happiness, peace, and security. I by myself don't find secure. I require this and that for emotional security, physical security, financial security. I require so many things to feel secure as a person. Food, etc., required is a genuine requirement, objective requirements. But Swamiji, nobody tells me I'm good. Nobody tells me that I am excellent. Nobody tells me that I am a what is called qualified seeker, adhikari. Nobody tells me I am a good spouse, good parent, good student. Nobody tells me. Somebody was there to tell me, but that person is gone. I am in search of someone who tells you are very good. You are, I am there for you. I want somebody to tell me, I am there. That's a big need everybody has. And some people exploit that need. We need to be careful about it. Nothing wrong is understandable. Our needs are understandable. But these needs can be exploited. Why? Everybody knows this, that everybody is searching for someone who will say, I am there for you. He is not there for you. He is there for himself. But he or she will make you feel. That's why all this the jihad happens. So things happen. Somebody we want to tell, I'm there. I can. So that is called by dependence for security, emotional security. Yeah, you need clothing, shelter, food. That is a genuine requirement, and you depend upon some people for that. It is understandable. But this type of requirement, I want someone to tell this. I am there for you. That emotional, the dependence for emotional security is because I find myself to be inadequate in terms of security. I find myself to be insecure by myself. Similarly, I feel that for peace, so many things have to happen. In me, there is no peace. In me, there is no happiness. So I find myself to be inadequate, and therefore there is raga dveshas. It is something like when I don't have water, in my own house, then we have to get water from outside. If you are well in your own premises, you don't have to go out. You don't have, so what? You have to get water connection, you have to get tanker, etc. So why am I seeking happiness, peace, and security from outside? Because I find myself to be inadequate. And why do I find myself to be inadequate? Here Shastra comes and tells that really speaking, you are adequate. You do not have intrinsic limitation, but you have identified with limited ones. You are not limited, but you have identified with limited non-self. Non-self means what you are not. So because of your identification with limited non-self, there is sense of limitation. Generally, I give this example that a person is financially okay. He has got pension, etc., and he has got minimum requirements, okay. But he is associated with the organization which requires a lot of money. So what will happen to the person, all the time raising fund, worried about that only. He's too identified with the organization. So all the time, one person was telling me this. He says, Swamiji, all the time I'm thinking, so whom should I ask for fund? Whom should I ask for fund? Whom should I ask for fund? And when such people are there, people will change the street seeing this person. Why? Because every now and then he will ask for fund. So he himself, as a person, he doesn't require money. Enough money he has. But he is identified with the organization who has got big projects in crores. Therefore, what? All the time feeling poor. That happens. Similarly, I, by myself, in the vision of Shastra, am free from limitations. But I have identified myself with what I am not. And what I am not is limited. Here, mistake is disadvantages. Sometimes your old chappals are there, you change with the new one, exchange with new one, no problem. But here it is opposite of that. You are limitless and you identified with limited. And therefore what? You are feeling limited. Why do I identify with limited non-self? Shastra says, because you do not know what really you are. When you miss the fact, you take something else to be the fact. That is called mistake. That is called error. That is called misunderstanding. So, what you are not aware of. You do not know. And therefore, you have concluded yourself to be what you are not. And because of that, there is sense of limitation. Then because of that, there is raga dvesha. Because of that, insistence, resistance. And because of that, there is a sorrow. And that is why this ignorance and ignorance born conclusions are the cause for sorrow. Any sorrow you have, if you have this understanding of this particular line of thinking, the chain of cause and effect, then every sorrow you can trace it back to this ignorance. Any sorrow. Whether you are misunderstood or somebody cheated or whatever. Bhagavan says that this sorrow is because of ignorance. And therefore, what is the solution? For the problem of ignorance, solution is only knowledge. When the problem is because of darkness, solution is light. And therefore, Bhagavan says, the people who have got wisdom, they are free from sorrow. They will not be free from pain. So don't expect that a wise person will not have fever, wise person will not have COVID. No, they also can have. 5.7, something, no, last latest one. Any COVID he can have, she can have. So wisdom, self-wisdom does not give you guarantee against this pain, physical pain, but it gives you guarantee against this sorrow. Pain will be one more situation in your life. Pain becomes a problem when you resist pain, when you complain about pain. Otherwise, pain is one more situation you go through. One more situation. It's not a pleasant situation, but it will not cause sorrow. Generally, for ignorant people, pain causes sorrow as well. Why? Because person is resisting. Why pain? Why pain? Why pain? That causes sorrow. Pain itself doesn't cause sorrow. My resistance to pain causes sorrow. So wise person also will have pain, but he or she will not have sorrow. And this sorrow is called samsara, bondage. And wise people become free from this sorrow. This is the main message given in this shloka. With this background, we'll see the words of the shloka, other words of the shloka. Ashocyan anvashochaha tvam. Tvam means you. Arjuna, tvam, you, anvashochaha, you grieved. Or we can make it present also. You are grieving. For what? Ashocyan. You are grieving for those things which really do not deserve sorrow, which do not warrant sorrow, which are not really cause for sorrow. So you are grieving for those things which do not deserve sorrow, which really do not cause sorrow. Many times, you know what happens? Our wrong perception of situation causes the problem. There was no problem. But my wrong perception causes problem. Recently, one person was telling, Swamiji, my wife, he broke some plate in the fridge, glass plate. And these all pieces came out and she cleaned. But some two pieces must have remained near the fridge. And when I reached home, I saw my daughter was having one piece of glass in her mouth, was keeping. I saw that. Then I said, I got very panicky that she must have, um, digest. I mean, she must have taken one. It must have gone inside, and he had heard something because he had some background of medical engineering. And he said, a glass, unless it touches some part, it will not cause pain. But when it does, it will be very serious. So he immediately took out that piece, but he thought that so many other pieces must be there and she must have swallowed. She took her to the uh, doctor. Doctor also said that this glass is such a thing that we cannot even find out in scanning. I don't know what it says. He said other material we can find out, the glass we may not be able to find out. We have to just wait. And the this daughter was hospitalized. And I said, was there any symptom? No symptoms, Swami. He said, we had all problems. She did not. She was laughing. And since we were harassing her by taking there and giving this and that, therefore she was crying afterwards. And the 2 days she was kept first in ICU and then afterwards in the hospital, the room and all. And they brought back, nothing happened. And they did all this banana and whatever is to be given so that things come out and all. And came out every time they were checking also. That also, they did not find anything. Just to remain there. So he said some Papam Swami is exhausted. Yeah, that's all. So I said, I got an example from this that how misperception of the situation also can cause problem. That's how I get my examples from day to day level. So situations remaining the same, but we wrongly perceive it. Therefore, we get problems. We become sad. Which is Swami used to give this example. He said, you see somebody is frowning at you. So you think he is unhappy with me? Maybe he was trying to sneeze. Sometimes, it happens. You want to sneeze, but it doesn't come. They say, generally, you see at light, it will come. They say, I don't know whether it's true. Have you heard this? They say, if you look at light, no? This, huh? Sunlight, or whatever light. If the sunlight is, so maybe. Vastrartha Vakshatansa. Anyway, this is not my point. It's Bhagavad Gita. Anyways, so what I'm saying that it is I perceive that this person is frowning at me. Really, that person was trying to sneeze, and I wrongly perceive. That's what Bhagavan is telling. Ashochan anvashochaha tvam. You are grieving after something that does not deserve grief. And here, Acharya said that this Bhagavad Gita teaching starts from here, and it starts with Ashochan, is a negative particle. Technically, it's called non-practical. So it is not a good beginning. You should not start with not. Some people have the habit. Anything you say, no. They will say no and then will say yes. They have a habit. So why Bhagavan started with Ashochan? Is a negative particle. In this context. Not every time is not negative particle. Okay? But here. So our Acharya say that this negative particle is representative of Nivrutti Shastra. Bhagavad Gita is a Nivrutti Shastra, Shoka Nivrutti Shastra, Ajnana Nivrutti Shastra. Nivrutti means removal. The vision of Vedanta is that really you do not have to become anybody. Whatever you think you have become, that you have to drop. It is a matter of letting things go, not getting something new. That is why Vedanta is suitable for the people who are more sharing type people. This hand is like this, not like this. The people who cannot share, they will not assimilate Vedanta. Guarantee. One needs to have this mind to share, to let go. Otherwise, Vedanta will not come. Because Vedanta is a Nivritti Shastra. Tyagena eke amrutatva manashuhu. न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानुषुः. Tyagena. Tyaga is the way. You let go of ignorance, born conclusion. So, to suggest that this Bhagavad Gita Shastra is a Nivritti Shastra, really speaking, to be happy, you do not require anything from outside. You, the way really you are already happy. You are what you want to be. You are what you are seeking in your life. So why am I sad? Because I have gathered something which is really not mine and I consider them to be mine. I am sad because I think myself to be somebody what I am not. I think I am a father, I am a mother, etc. And really you are not. That you think yourself to be, and based on that identification with the role, you have stress. Swamiji, I am not a good mother, I am not a good father, I am not a good son. And thus, all wrong conclusions which you are holding on to, they are to be dropped. Therefore, it is a Nivritti Shastra. And that is suggested by Ashochan. Bhagavan says, you are grieving after something which does not deserve any grief. And here, Tvam immediately means Arjuna. But by extension, Tvam refers to every jiva who is ignorant and suffering because of the problem of ignorance. So Tvam means everybody of us. Whoever has got the problem of sorrow, Bhagavan is telling, you are grieving after something or someone who doesn't deserve grief. Ashocyananva Shochastvam. If you analyze, really sorrow is not caused by any external factor. Really speaking, you grieve not for someone else, you are really grieving for yourself. When somebody says, Swamiji, I am sad because my spouse died or my children died or parents died. Really speaking, it is not that for parents you are grieving. You are grieving for yourself that I will be missing him. What will be my life without them? That is the immediate cause for sorrow. You are thinking that without them, my life will not be as comfortable as it was. Nobody grieves for anybody else, really. Finally, you grieve for yourself. Means you are not accepting yourself to be what you are now. With those things or without those things. And therefore, Tvam refers to all. Ashochan anva shochaha Tvam. You are grieving, Arjuna, or O Jiva, you are grieving for something which does not deserve any grief. Ashochan. Really speaking, nothing is the real cause of sorrow except your misunderstanding about the world and yourself. So you have sorrow because you do not know the truth about yourself. Means you are ignorant. Bhagavan is going to say, Panditaha Danu Shochan. And then Bhagavan says, you are grieving means you are not a wise person. Because wise people do not grieve. Wise people do not grieve. And therefore those who are grieving are not wise people. But Pragya Vadamsha Bhashase. You are grieving, therefore you are not a wise person. But you Pragya Vadamsha Bhashase. You are speaking the words of wisdom. Some people are very good at that, giving advice. They will be saying, yes, they are liberated people. In Shastra, there is a saying, Paropadeshe Pandityam. Means scholarship when it comes to giving advice to others. Giving advice to others, we are very expert. Therefore, somebody I gave this advice when he asked for advice. That somebody I have this problem, I have this problem. I know that this person who have come with problem gives advice to others. Then I said, you what you do, whenever you have a problem, you think that somebody has come to you with this problem. Imagine that. Suppose you have a problem with your spouse or problem with in-laws. Then somebody comes to you, what type of advice you will give? Same advice you follow. Really simple solution. You know why this difference is? Because when it comes to advising others, we are objective. Because I am not suffering. But when I have problem, I am subjective. And because of subjectivity, I am not able to see things as they are. This my vision is colored, and therefore I am confused, and this confusion creates sorrow. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, you are talking like a wise person, but you are grieving. Therefore, what? You are not a wise person. You are not a wise person, but you are talking like a wise person. Therefore, I have a smile on my face. Prahasanniva. In the previous shloka, Bhagavan was smiling. One reason was that also. Talks like a wise person, but really does not behave like a wise person. And then he says, wise people, if you are really a wise person, you will not grieve, but you are grieving. Therefore, you are not a wise person. So what? Become a wise person. We should not end up with just problems. We have to give the solution. Some people are very good in presenting problems. Whatever option you give, he said, this option will have this problem, this option has this problem, this option. Then you tell me solution. That you figure out. No, our Shastra doesn't have that approach. Shastra talks about the problem and Shastra gives the solution. So Bhagavan says that wisdom is the solution to the problem and you don't have wisdom. So what? I will give you wisdom. And so from the next shloka, Bhagavan gave wisdom. The second line we will see more in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamada